Welcome to another edition of Brantim Live. I'm your co-host, Brandon E. Brooks.
And I'm Tim Milliken.
We have another amazing guest, an icon and of cinema and television here today, and we'll introduce him shortly. But Tim's going to do some house cleaning about our upcoming Atlantic City Celebrity Convention.
Yeah, so now's the time. We only have a few weeks left, maybe 2.5 weeks left before the event. Please get your VIP after party passes. We have multiple VIP experiences. We're going to be we're going to be launching the sale for the Baron and Toluca screening soon. Probably about maybe by Wednesday of next week. We definitely have the Forrest Griffin UFC 304 watch party on Saturday night for sale. So grab those tickets. That ticket includes a couple drink tickets and also getting to watch the event with former UFC light heavyweight champion. But also get a picture with him and the belt. That's kind of cool. So we have that. And then, the VIP after parties for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the red carpet kickoff party. We're working out something else special for Sunday afternoon, which will be cool. Don't forget that California Dreams will be performing live at the VIP kickoff party on Thursday, as well as performing at the event on Saturday. We was way too many. Like we could have done more. We should have gone to 100, Brandon, but we could have had like 100 celebrities. But we got about 60 celebrities that'll be here and over that. And it'll be an awesome, amazing, great time. Just come on down and make sure you grab your tickets to the event. Try to avoid the lines, right? Like we have it set up so that if you pre-purchase, it's a lot easier to get in and out. It'll streamline the whole process of getting in and out of the event. Versus having to buy tickets at the door. Yes, we will have the opportunity to buy tickets at the door. Yes, you can buy photo ops at the door, but we prefer just to streamline things because there's going to be a lot of people there. Pre-purchase the photo ops, pre-purchase the tickets, pre-purchase everything. Like, let's go. Let's do this. Let's have a great time. We're almost there. I can smell it. It's great. Right over the ocean. I mean, that's amazing. So anyway, that's it for me for now. Oh, one last thing. Sorry. So we did run a raffle for the Ultimate VIP. The Ultimate VIP, a pair of Ultimate VIP passes. If you purchased any ticket from June 15th to July 1st? Yeah, July 1st. Let me just find the username here real quick. Trying to think here. I had it. Where'd it go? Friday only. Yep, it was. So amazing. So we're actually going to give away 2 pairs just because we're awesome like that. And also, just so you know, anyone who purchases a ticket between July 1st and the event, anybody who pre-purchases a single day ticket, that gets you an entry. If you purchase a weekend pass, that gets you 3 entries. We're going to be giving away 2 more to the event the day before the event. So make sure you get in that for the Ultimate VIP weekend passes, blah, blah, blah. But you got to buy tickets in order to get to enter. Anyway, the winners are Hulk 1986, who purchased on June 19th. And the other one was, we have here, where'd it go? Patchy 666. Oh, goodness. Who purchased a weekend pass. Both of you, Patchy 666 and Hulk 1986, you have received, or you will receive a pair of the Ultimate VIP weekend passes, which get you into everything, all the VIP events for the whole weekend, including the Thursday, if you're willing to get there the day early. That's awesome. And anyway, so buy some tickets to enter the last and final batch of Ultimate VIP weekend passes. All right, on to you, Brandon.
Awesome. So today's guest is a NFL Super Bowl champion, an actor in many classic films, king of blaxploitation films that I love many of, like Bucktown, Hell in Harlem. He's also a huge inspiration to me and to the whole martial arts community, which we'll talk about. It's a cool shot right there. Little short sidebar. Many years ago, this man right here, Fred the Hammer Williamson, met him at a Monster Mania show, and we actually sat for a couple different sessions, and he gave me the speed about early AFM days and how he kind of got filmmaking, independent filmmaking, started like on a really dope level for people of color. So welcome to Brantim Live, the amazing Fred the Hammer Williamson.
What's up, dog?
Good to have you, sir. It's an honor. It's an honor. So we always start this off. My first question to every guest is I like to start where we start. So tell us about like kind of where you grew up and how you got how your early days kind of molded you into what ended up becoming the Hammer.
Well, you ain't got that much time, man.
Well, at least like where you were born and raised.
Too short. Dude,
where you were born and raised.
I'm a reformed thug. I used to be a thug in my young days, man. I'm from part of my life in Gary, Indiana, and the other half was in Chicago. And I've been in more fights than you can think of, man. So trying to prove my value, trying to prove my worth. Just because I was a good-looking guy doesn't mean I couldn't kick your butt, And because my mother always dressed me, man. I always went to school there was pleats sewed into my pants, man, so that I looked very neat and sharp every time I went to school, So somehow, and my shoes were always shine because I had to take, when I came home every day from playing, I had to take my dad gave me a shoe brush that he had in the service, and I had to shine my shoes before putting them away, man. So I was always that kind of kid. But to some people, that they think that's a show of weakness, that you want to be tired correctly, you want your shoes shine. And I had to, slap a few people around in my day to let them know that I wasn't that kind of guy. If you don't like what I have, keep it to yourself. Don't bring it to me,
Yeah.
So my attitude has always been, I can do whatever I want to do as long as I don't offend anybody or push anybody out of the way. I can achieve what I want to do on my own initiative.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, the funny thing, real quick, Brandon, the funny thing is that, a lot of people also know you from football, your football career, you were in the AFL and so on. But you actually is this true that you actually went to Northwestern on a track scholarship?
I was never a football player or an athlete, man. I like girls at that particular age,
Yeah.
And the girls like athletes, man. And I was a football player because you couldn't get down to the order. They couldn't come down and meet you and talk to you. But in track, you were very close to the people on the sidelines. And so I was a track star only because I wanted to be, everything that I could be in my life.
Gotcha.
So I tried sports, and I didn't want to play football because you might get hurt and they mess up my face. So I wasn't about to let that happen. So they drafted me because I was a track star. And I would not have had a chance to go to any university had I not been an athlete.
Yeah.
My folks never couldn't afford me to go to schools. They couldn't pay for that. So I took this advantage to go to Northwestern. And I went to Northwestern on a track scholarship. And my first week there, a new coach came at the same time that I came. His name was Eric Parsegian. Eric Parsegian came up to me and he says, you're 6'3", you're 210 pounds, and you run track, and you're 100-yard dash champ at 220. Why don't you play football? We'll give you a scholarship. I said, you don't understand. I already got a scholarship here. He said, we'll do something better for you. I said, like what? He went, boom, 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 and I give you this. And I said, okay, what do I sign? They convinced me to play football. They bought me to play football,
Yeah.
But I had the talent and the motivation to be a success in anything that I desired to do. Anything that I got into, I did it 110%. And I knew I was going to do this at 110%, and it paid off.
Awesome. So I know the answer to this question because you've told me at different shows we've been at. So, but tell the world here, tell us where the Hammer, that moniker came from on the football field.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be drafted by a professional football team, San Francisco 49ers. And I had been a flanker back. I was a flanker, and I was leading the Big Ten in pass receptions. I was an All-American 3 times as a pass receiver. I get to 49ers, and they make me a defensive back.
Yeah.
Defensive back. And don't you know who I am? He gets the ball in my teeth. I don't really need a hands to catch a football. He said, well, if you want to make this team, we need fast guys like you to play defense. I said, I can't play defense. I don't know how. He said, well, you're going to have to show us something, son, or we're going to cut you. So I'm out there trying to be a defensive back, trying to cover guys, and I'm running backwards. I never know how to run. After about 4 or 5 days, coach, which was Red Hickey, came up to me and said, son, you disappointed us. We thought you could make the transition. You got the speed, you got the intelligence, but you're looking bad, and we're going to have to cut you and send you home. And I said to myself, send me home back to the ghetto, tell the boys I can't make a football team. Come on, man, I'm the toughest guy in the neighborhood. I can't make a football team. Are you crazy? I said, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I ain't going to cover nobody. I'm just going to knock everybody down so I don't have to cover them. So I got about the first play. Guy came out the next day practice. It was R.C. Owens, better known as Alley Oop. I got about 15 inches away from him, man, almost offsides. I could tell you what he had for breakfast. Coach said, damn Williamson, get back. He's going to make you look stupid. I said, just shut up and hike the ball. He said, okay. He hiked the ball. R.C. Owens made one fake as he came off the line, and I hit him with this.
Yeah.
Knocked him out. Coach comes running over. He says, goddamn Williamson, what are you doing? I said, I covered him. Right. Back up and stop hammering my players so I could get some pass offense in. And that's how I got the name of Hammer.
Yeah.
There it is. So this I also know this too, but tell us a little bit about, I mean, did you enjoy your time on the gridiron? Did the time you spent, or was it kind of transitioning into something else you were looking forward to?
I didn't really want to be a football player. Football was not my favorite thing. I wanted to be an architect. I was really good at drafting. I won a lot of prizes in design and drafting. So my goal was to go to Northwestern and study architecture and engineering, which I did. I graduated as an architecture and engineer, and I worked for Bechtel Steel during the off season when I was in San Francisco. But I couldn't make the transition, man. I mean, I'd been, not used to having a 9 to 5 and an hour for lunch. I couldn't make that transition.
Oh yeah.
So I was after about 6 months, man, the walls started closing in on me. So one night I was watching television. I saw a show called Julia. Diane Carroll was the star of the show. And I noticed that each week the guest star role was a new boyfriend. And I said in my humble way, I'm better looking than those guys. I'm going to Hollywood and become Diane Carroll's boyfriend. Forget about it. So I did, man. I packed up my little XKE. At the time, I was driving a Jaguar XKE. Put a trail onto it. I'm in San Francisco. I drive all the way to LA, and I check into a hotel, and I go to the gate, and I saw from watching the show that it was 20th Century Fox. I go to the gate, and I says, I want to come in and see Mr. Hal Cantor. He's a producer of Julia. He said, you have a invite? I said, no. I said, well, you can't drive on here. Back in the day, there was no cell phones, and I drove around to a phone booth. I called back to the front gate. I said, hello, this is Mr. Hal Cantor's office. Respect Mr. Wilson. Would you let know? Hung up the phone, went back to the gate. Oh, yes, we just got a call on you. Your name is Fred Williamson? Yeah. Well, it's down here in Bungalow 24.
Dude.
So I go down, drive to Bungalow 24, man. I go into the secretary. She said, oh, you here to see Mr. Cantor? I said, yeah. You have an interview appointment? I said, no, I don't have nothing. Just call him on tell him who I am. Tell him the hammer's in the house. She says, Mr. Cantor, there's a hammer here. I said, no. Not Mr. Hammer, the Hammer. There was about 5 seconds of silence. He says, football player? I said, yeah, football player. He said, well, oh, yeah, come on in. We meet. So we talked for about 10 minutes. He says, why are you here? I said, look, I've been watching your show, man. Diane Carroll's got a new boyfriend each week. That doesn't say a lot for her moral character, you know? I said, what you need is a new boyfriend, a regular boyfriend. He said, well, we've been thinking about that. I said, well, you don't need to think anymore. I'm here. I'm it. So you've been acting before? I did 5 years of Carmen Jones, 3 years of Raising in the Sun in Canada. And I took him to Canada because I know he didn't know squat about Canada. They'd asked me what character I was playing. I would have been up a creek, dude. Okay, he said, well, I like your attitude. You know, I like your enthusiasm. We got a show for you. So they wrote a show for me called Dancer in the Dark about a pro football player who retired, came to work for the same company that Diane Carroll worked for. We met, we fell in love. We did the show. and they hired me to a 3-year deal. I said, I was Dan Kill's boyfriend for 3 years on the Julia show.
Awesome.
What's the worst thing he could say to me was get out, but he didn't say it.
Sure.
That's some clever shit, man.
You gotta do what you gotta do. So
being a winner is about attitude. It's about attitude of your character, man. If you believe that you can do it, if you believe that you can accomplish it, you can BS your way to get in, but once you get in, you got to prove yourself.
Yeah.
And that was something that I did.
Yep, I remember that's one of the things you told me many years ago. So speaking along those lines, so in the early American film market days, so you did Julia. So how long after that did you segue into your own? Did you start kind of creating your own blaxploitation opportunities there? Or did you do more? I know you did Star Trek and the other things, but how long after that did you kind of start becoming the producer hammer?
Well, I was at the Julia show, and I was going to lunch one day in the commissary, and it was at Universal Studios.
Mm-hmm.
This guy walked by, and he said, "You're the Hammer, right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm the Hammer." He said, "I'm doing a movie, and it's a football movie, and I need somebody to come in and direct all the football stuff and hire all the professional football players." The guy who talked to me was Robert Altman, and the movie was MASH.
Yep.
Okay, so that was my intro to the movie business, right?
Yeah.
Otto Ingo Preminger was the producer of the show. He comes to me and he says, "My brother Ingo is looking for somebody that's Italian, but he hasn't been able to find a tall, dark, and handsome guy." I said, "Wait a minute, here he is right here." He said, "Okay, I'm going to send you to meet my brother Ingo." So I go to Ingo's house, and they're having a party. So I'm sort of disturbing the party. So he says, "Why are you here?" I said, "What do you mean I'm here? Don't you know that somebody told me to come here?" "Oh, you're that guy, that ex-football player guy." "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I'm him." "It's okay. Give you a script. Read this part. We're looking for somebody. We're looking for a part to play Beach Boy." And the name of the movie was Tell Me You Love Me, Junie Moon, with Liza Minnelli.
Yeah.
So I did the part Beach Boy, and that was my first movie. So Tell Me You Love Me, Junie Moon was my first movie. And I said to myself, "Damn, this is easy. I should have been doing this a long time ago, man." So, but then I realized that there were no black heroes, man. I mean, Sidney Poitier was one of our heroes, okay, but I never saw him hit anybody in the mouth. I never saw him smack anybody down. That's my history. That's what I want to do. I want to come in, be somebody that I can relate to. I want to come in and be me, right? So I said, okay, I know what I do. At that time, they were telling me blacks were not popular in Europe. Black actors had this terminology, black exploitation. I never know what that meant. What the hell is black exploitation meant? Who's being exploited? If you're paying me and I like what I'm doing, I'm not being exploited. I'm exploited only if I'm doing something I don't like and you're not paying me what I expect to be paid. Then you're exploiting me. So I never bought into this black exploitation cockapoo. So I said, all right, I'm going to go to Europe and I'm going to see what it's like over there, because you can't convince me, because I know a lot of Italian women who like me, and there's no way that I can't make a living over there. So I go to the Cannes Film Festival by myself in France. I buy a table out on a patio and I watch how they do business. I was there like 3 weeks. Second week, I made up a film. I made up a name of a film, and I made a poster of it, and I put the poster on the patio out on the terrace. And they came by and it says, "Is this a movie?" Yeah, it's who's starring in it. It's me and Richard Pryor. He said, "Okay, we'll buy the movie." I made the movie for about $250,000, and at Cannes I sold it for almost $1 million.
Back in the early 70s?
This is like way early, man. This is first time I'm making a road trip by myself, dude. Over Europe, okay?
Wow.
The movie was Adios Amigo, starring me and Richard Pryor. And I made it for about $150,000.
Wow.
And it cleaned up. But it convinced me that blacks in Europe are marketable because they look at us differently. And I realized that one time I went to a disco while I was there. I was dancing. And I got up and asked a girl to dance with me. Now I got people watching me and they're watching me move. They go, "Wow, they try." I said, this is blackness. This is how we do it. This is how we move. What are you talking about? they thought I was something special, and I was just being me, dog. And they look at us a lot different than American look at us. Okay, we're not a challenge to anybody in Europe. We're, we're challenged to white America here. Every time we make a success, you piss somebody off because they don't want you to have the same credibility that they have.
No.
It's the same. It's totally opposite in Europe. I found that in Spain. I found that in Italy. I found that in Germany. They look at us differently and with a lot more respect. And that's really all I want, man. You know.
Awesome. So as far as your filmmaking, you do the writing? Obviously, you do the producing. But how do you tackle that? All the different facets when you first started. Did you learn the craft of it, or did you learn it as you went? Just kind of trial by error? Or?
What I learned from the Julia show,
Mm-hmm.
I never went and sit down and watch what they did. I asked what you're doing. What do you move that over there for? What do you call that thing? What is that thing? What do you move that for? Because I'm a technical person, because I was an architect. So I want to know how you do this and why you do that and why you move that over there. By the time I finished the 3 years, I could direct anything I wanted to do it. You know, so I had the knowledge to be a director. Now all I had to do was find the financing. Financing was the hard part if I'm looking for money from America. Finding money from Europe was different because, again, like I said, my commodity is more viable to them over there than here. And I wasn't going to die in a movie. So I had 3 rules. You can't kill me in a movie. I got to win all my fights. And I get the girl at the end of the movie if I want her. Now that one I threw in there because I know that they ain't going to do that. So I'm going to settle for 2 out of 3. Okay, I won't. Okay, so I'll take the other 2. I don't want the woman. I didn't want her anyway. But I gave them an out. You got to give them an out. You can't dictate three rules and expect to get all 3 of them. But you want 2 of them. 2 of them I don't bend. You can't kill me in a movie, and I got to win my fights. Because I can't explain to young brothers on the street, man, who see me as the hammer and a football player, and why you let this guy beat you up in the movie, man. I can't explain that. And I know what the first thing they're gonna say, you're a sellout. You sell out for the money. No, that's not gonna happen in my life.
That's awesome. So another iconic gentleman that I was a pleasure to meet, like a little bit before he passed on, was this gentleman here in the photo that I'm pulling up, Jim Kelly. You speak a little bit about working with him back in the day. You told me some interesting stories about working on set, and let's talk a little bit about who Jim was to you.
Jim Kelly was a really good martial arts guy. You know, he didn't have the leadership to direct him in the direction that he wanted to go. They always compared him to Bruce Lee or somebody else. You know, he never took control of his own self, his own identity, because he didn't know how. He didn't venture out. You know, he got with me and Jim Brown. Jim was a guy pretty much like me, went out on his own, you know, fought the battles, didn't take any crap for anybody. He was that kind of guy. So the 3 of us made a great team, man, because first of all, the competition was furious, was max out. The competition about who was going to do this, who was going to do that. But it showed up in the movie we did called 3 the Hard Way. And put the movie together to let everybody do their thing that they were notable for. Jim did the martial arts. Jim Brown did the grunting. And I did the smile, the Dandy Dunn. I did the Dandy Dunn fight. Jim Brown did the grunt. And Kelly did martial arts. So I gave everybody their due. Everybody did their thing that they were noted for. And that's what made the picture a success. Because we weren't in competition with each other. We respected each other. We know what each other brought to the table, and I let them do whatever they wanted to do in character. And that's something that it's hard to do when you working for somebody else and they want you to be somebody else and play somebody else. But you have to make them understand that you represent one thing, and what you represent is what makes you famous. What you represent is what people expect to see you do. Burt Reynolds did that and messed up his career. He came in as a stuntman, hero, fight, and all of a sudden he started doing comedy. Yeah. You know, so when he started getting into a fight, he pulls a gun out and they think a flag is going to come out that says bang. You can't make that kind of change in this business. You have to do what people like to see you do. And if you're lucky, it's what you like to do. Then you got it made. Then it's a wonderful trip to be in Hollywood.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, one of our guests that we have, Pam Grier. You started her, right? Started her career. What was it like working with her in the early days?
How can you not turn down Pam Grier, man? I mean, she's the most beautiful woman at that time in the business that was black, you know? So how you turn down Pam Grier? I'd be stupid to turn down Pam Grier.
Yeah.
Pam Grier plus she's a good actress. And she's a good asset. She's a good role model. And she's doing her own thing too. So Pam was number one black female. And I think it showed in her career. She went a long way without having a reputation of doing anything unnecessary to get a job. You know what I'm saying? Now, dude, it's a mess out there now.
Absolutely. So this is one thing I do here is that I pull up some photos. And we'll get back to some of the fans ask questions about some of your other iconic films, but I'm going to do this real quick. I pulled up a little pictures of a lot of the leading ladies you had or different actresses you work with. And I want to pull them up and just give me a little bit about what comes to mind when you see these pictures. So this is the first one right here. That's Bam. There you go.
Wonderful lady. Very sensitive lady, proved to be overly sensitive. She committed her own demise because she wasn't getting the proper respect that she wanted. She wasn't getting the roles that she wanted. And that's why I hired her, because I knew how sensitive she was. I wanted her to be my leading lady. And she was too far gone, man. Hollywood destroyed her.
Oh, sad. Okay, the next one here, Bam. That's one that's a recognizable face.
Smell good, taste good, friendly.
There we go. Here's a shot here. Bam.
Smell good, taste good, friendly.
Oh, bam. She's in stress.
This lady is a martial artist too, man. This lady is tough. This lady don't have to take no stuff from anybody. She can kick high as I can. And she has a mean left hook too. Right hand is kind of weak, but the left hook is mean.
Nice. All right, here we go. Bam.
Vanetta McGee, another sensitive lady. She was so sensitive that she decided she didn't want to be in the business anymore because they weren't giving her the opportunity to do the roles that she wanted to do, and so she quit Hollywood. And she quit Hollywood and got married and just moved away from Hollywood. But she was a great lady.
Wow. And then bam, there's an icon. There we go.
Well, she was the beginning of it all. Julia was by far probably the most intelligent. She paved her own way, fighting the system, being the first black female starring her own television series. So she had a lot of moxie. Not only was she a good-looking woman, but she had a lot of moxie.
Awesome. Diane Carroll. Bam. Who's this?
Smell good, taste good, feel good.
Wrong. Sorry. You threw me off there.
That's important. Smell good is, man, we're trying to smile in somebody's face and they got bad breath and they haven't had their shower lately. Yeah. I had to take care of myself as I expected them to do that. And sometimes I'd be on the set and I'd take a piece of peppermint out and I'd offer it to them, you know, so we'd all have the peppermint breath, you know. Dude, and this hard, man. The hardest thing to do is have a love scene on screen. It is hard to do. That is the most difficult thing to do in life, let me tell you.
All right. So we get a lot of questions about this film here that obviously is one of your most popular, From Dusk Till Dawn. So how did this come about with all these players and through Robert Rodriguez?
Well, I saw Tarantino in a bar. He came up to me and said, "We're doing this movie, and would you like to be in this movie?" I said, "Well, again, I got 3 rules. You can't kill me in a movie, and if you're gonna die, if I'm gonna die in your movie, I don't want to be in it." He said, "Well, we got a character I got in mind for you, but we can rewrite it." So he did. He rewrote it. He rewrote it because I turned into this big ugly monster when I get bitten on the neck. I turned to this ugly thing and I start taking people out on my own. But before that, I beat up a whole bunch of people before I got beat. So I had to do a role. I got to do my thing. I got to do a little martial arts. I got to beat up a few people, and then I got bit on the neck by this ugly looking thing and turned me into one of these things. And so Quentin and I understood each other. He knew that I wasn't going to die in the movie, so he said, "Hey, I want you in the movie, and I will take care of that." I said, okay, that's how we did it.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Another one is Original Gangsters. How did this come about? Like years later, obviously, you had done a ton of the blaxploitation films that were popular, but how did you get all the characters back together into this one? Was it easy? Because Pam had already kind of done her thing, and Jim Brown was always Jim Brown. And how did you get this back together?
Because I knew that this movie was going to be a success. If all the four of us could make a movie together and each person have an opportunity to do their own thing, not something that some producer or director don't really know what each person represent, because we did represent blackness. We represent something that was important to black people. So I gave them an opportunity to extend this image and to do things that they know that they, would be respected for. So it worked out well. There was no competition. Like I said, everybody was doing their own thing. They didn't need me to approve it, because I knew that what they were doing was creating their own image or enhancing their own image. And that was important. Maintaining your image is important. That way you don't surprise your so-called fans. Nobody has to guess what you're going to do in the film. They know I'm going to beat up somebody. They know Jim is going to shoot somebody. Roundtree is going to beat up somebody. Pam is going to be beautiful and looking around. I mean, the idea is to let each person do what they're noted for, and don't push them into a square hole with a round peg. That doesn't work.
Now, is there a role that you've done that may not have been, or may not have been a lead role, that whether you wrote or someone wrote for you, that a lot of people might not think might be one of your favorite roles?
That would never happen, dude.
Yeah.
I fight for my individuality on the screen, off the screen, in Chicago, in LA, anywhere I am. I maintain my individuality. I'm not marketable from a standpoint of bending to make more money. That's not what I do.
Yeah, I'm just saying, so is there a role that people, people
I
might
answered the question, dog. I answered the question clearly. I said no without saying no. You understand? I don't give up my identity. I know what I am. I know what I represent. I don't give it up. Why, you got a picture in mind?
No, I was just wondering, because I noticed that there was a lot of other stuff that, you've appeared in other people's big budget movies as well as.
But I always hit somebody, and most of the time I got hit back first, and I hit back harder the next time. You know?
I was just asking, is there anyone you enjoyed maybe more than others?
Hitting back, dude.
Yeah.
Retaliation is always a good thing for me, Oh, yeah. But you have to set up the audience for that. You just can't come in kicking down doors. You got to kick one door, and the door bounces off the hinge and comes back and smack you in the face. Okay.
One more recently than others that I enjoyed personally was VFW. I mean, that was I love to see that whole cast put together, and that was one that I personally enjoyed. But
VFW was another one of those films has to convince the guys that I don't die in movies. You can't kill me in a movie.
Yeah.
So they didn't really know how to make it work, but I knew in my mind how I was going to make it work, and it did. They go back, have this fight with this chick with the sword and a boom bang, and they pick me up off the floor and they take me to the bar, and I'm sitting at the bar like I'm frozen, and they're saying blah blah blah, and I said, "Who said I was dead?" To let people know that I was still alive. I had some wounds, but I was still alive. So we made that work because I had the last word. Who said I was dead?
That's awesome. Yeah, great cast of William Sadler, and again, like Tim said, a very, very enjoyable film. You said that's doing huge still overseas, right? I know it's doing
overseas. Yeah, it is. I got a #1 film playing in Germany right now. It's called Atomic Eden. It's playing in Germany right now. So that's #1 over there. It's been there for about 4 or 5 weeks, man. It's going big. So my foreign value is still marketable, still good. So I'm getting ready to do another film over Engine Angels. And it's like Bronson's film, like Bronson films that he did when he was after the bad guys who were doing things on the street. Well, it's the same thing. Yeah, it's like Death Wish. This one's called Engine Angel.
Oh, okay, awesome. So I want to just before we close up, I wanted to ask something. Go back a little bit. Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
This, I know there's a little story to that because we moved forward with Tarantino. You did the original when Bo Svensson and that whole crew back then. So move forward to what was the controversy as we move forward? I know there was a tiff there. So
well, it's kind of made it obvious. Quentin did film entitled Glorious Bastards.
mm-hmm.
Then we had to give him a call and talk to him and said, look, we made this film 4 years before you decide yours. You're gonna have to make some changes. So they did. It was a big deal, and they changed the spelling. Bastard is spelled with an A, not an E. So his film is Inglourious Bastard. Ours is Bastard, which is what the original word is. And we had this problem, but he gave in. He said, "Yeah, you're right," and he gave in. So Quentin did his thing, and we did our thing, right? They both are good films, I guess. I don't know about I didn't really see it after I found out that he was trying to rip us off. I was a little PO'd about it.
So how did you feel? You haven't done them for that long, but how do you feel about the convention circuit so far? You've done a couple shows and meeting your fans, but you've met fans all over the world. So in general, how do you feel as the Hammer? Some people that I've met kind of are standoffish with fans on the street or fans meeting them in a restaurant or convention. Even at conventions, how's the Hammer feel about that?
I don't go to Comic-Cons to make money. I go to Comic-Cons to give people a chance to never say whatever happened to the Hammer, right? And I try to take that verbal away from people. When they see me, then they know that I'm still alive. I don't have to be making a movie all the time. If they see me on the street, they're impressed enough just seeing me in person. And that's the idea. The idea is to do that, to keep my name alive, to keep them talking about me, and not to make money, because my money is making the film, not making money at the Comic-Cons. However, I do take some pocket change home every now and then from the Comic-Cons, but that's not my goal. My goal is to let people see me, see how good I look. I'm 86 and I don't look 86, right? And I ain't stuttering like Biden, I can get my thoughts together pretty quick.
That's right.
That's the whole idea, man. To let them know that 86 ain't a death number. I'm still alive, still can kick my foot up over my head, and can still beat up most people.
So how do
it might take me a little longer now, but I can get the job done.
So, but how do you do that at this point? Like you work out all the time? Is it just black don't crack? What is it?
No, it's attitude. It's attitude. You do what you feel you can do. If you feel you can go out there and run 5 miles, maybe you can, maybe you can't, but you'll never know unless you try to run 5 miles around the track. So you have to get to the 4th mile. You may say, "Wow, shit, this is good. I'm stronger than I thought I was. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna suffer this last mile, but I'm gonna do it anyway." It's about attitude, man. It's about character. It's about believing in yourself. It's about all those things put together. That's all. It's that simple.
I think you just gave my last question to every guest I've ever had is this, and kind of spoke on it a little bit, but there are filmmakers and actors aspiring in it that are watching, and I always ask for words of wisdom, good or bad, that from my guests to throw out to them, because it's a hard business to be in, whether filmmaker, actor, musician, whatever. So some wisdom from the Hammer.
Get another job. Get another job. Hollywood, I'm in Chicago right now. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I just moved out of Hollywood to Chicago. The movie business in LA was coming down on me because there was no energy there. There was nothing for me to sap on. There's nothing for me to take from these people that's original to boost my energy level. They're all fake. 90% of them are phony, 90% of them are fake. And the ones that are not fake, God bless them for staying there. I got to go back to my roots, man. I got to come back to Chicago where a guy can look me in the eye and call me one of these dirty names, and I know he means it. Over there, it's just no life. They're sucking my energy because I'm the one that's got the life. And I'm starting to be like, I'm 86 years old, man, and I can still jump over cars and just do that stuff. They can't because they don't try. They have said, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't live in an environment like that doesn't test me. But just give in to what what is.
Yeah.
It's got to be an environment that tests me, and Chicago is one, man. You know?
Awesome.
Right. So let us know, or let people know who are watching, where to find you on social media, or where to keep updated on the Hammer.
Never.
Never.
What's your Instagram and your Facebook, Hammer?
Hell no. If I ain't sitting next to you in a cab or in a taxi, you don't know nothing about me, man. You understand?
Hey, weren't you in I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker?
I told him.
I'm a comedy. I don't do funny stuff, man.
I told him at the chiller where people came up and were like, "My all-time favorite movie yours is I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker." You were like,
"Took you out, dude."
Yep, you were like, wrong black man. That was amazing. All right,
I fight too hard for my image, man. I fight too hard for my image. I ain't giving it up from one dialogue. No. Come on.
Have you been to Atlantic City before? I mean, other than like, I mean, I know you were for the show, but have you shot anything there before, or you just been there for that show? Anything,
but it's a good place. No, I just went there for the show, but it's a good place to shoot, man. I mean, it's got old school look, and that's really kind of cool. Got a lot of black folks there, and I like to have some black folks walking in the background. You don't see it in some of these movies, man. Like black folks don't exist in that city, man. You know?
It's like Friends.
I try to utilize everything. That again, I tell you, like, I'm a reformed thug, dude. You know, and I've come a long way. And that being that kind of guy, being that kind of character, and having that kind of background, it's wonderful because I can deal with anything. Yeah. I can deal with anything. And the best way to deal with something when you know you can defeat it is just be quiet. Say, oh, well, that's wonderful. That's how you feel. Good.
Very cool. Absolutely. Well, Hammer, we look forward to having. Yep. We look forward to having you in at the Atlantic City Celebrity Convention in a couple weeks, and yeah, we'll get to
text in the mail, right? Text in the mail,
right? But yeah, so yeah, we look forward, and we thank you for coming on today and spending some time with us and sharing some of your career and some wisdom to our audience. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Without further ado,
attitude is the key.
Attitude is the key. This man right here that you can see, and if you haven't checked out, you can go to actually Tubi and watch a lot of these amazing films. I did a deep dive just to catch up a couple months ago, and Bucktown, Hell in Harlem, just a whole lot of them. Even Atomic Eden. There's a lot of even the newer age ones like was it South Beach with Gary Busey, and there's a lot of different films and whatever that again they all have their different energy, but for me, it's all good when the Hammer's on the screen. So I'm honored to have you here today. So without further ado, everybody,
thank you,
Fred the Hammer Williamson. Thank you. Have a good day, my friend. Much love.
I'm working hard trying to do that.
All right.